Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gills, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to my home. Welcome to the office. Welcome to the morning grind. It is so good to see everybody. Today, we're going to be continuing with what has just been an absolute fantastic conversation here on the grind, talking about the Star Wars role-playing game by West End Games. So we've got this to go through, and then we also have the source book we're going to talk about later. Oh, you know what? This did have the Choose Your Own Adventure in here. Should we play that this morning? The solo adventure in here? Might have to do that. Didn't have time yesterday. But that's our main topic for today. But first, I have got to say that the RavenCon 0, basically our session 0 of putting together the Cultist Coffee Shop that can run online gaming and events, went extremely well last night. Went extremely well. We had several people with us, including Charlie. Hey, Charlie says, hi there. The test RavenCon was awesome. Tomocrat was there as well. Excuse me. Sable Phoenix was there last night. S. Becker. If you see S. Becker in the chat, S. Becker was there last night. We had a fantastic time last night, and I'm pleased to report that all of the systems worked as expected. There are just a couple of tweaks on Dragon Strike. We played Hero Quest and Dragon Strike last night, and I've got a few tweaks on the actual build out of the Dragon Strike game that I noticed weren't quite right, but everything went well. So it was a small test. We had did I have 6 people? I think it was 6 people, including me. So 5 different heroes. Yeah, 5 heroes playing. It was great because we didn't have to go to a different table. We were all able to just play at the same table. Of course, which will not be the case if there are more people in there. We'll have multiple games going on multiple tables. But this was great that I got to meet everybody. So I got to meet people. Did I say physically? I got to meet people who ordinarily I just see in the chat. And so that was also fantastic. So we didn't have to divide. That's why I didn't actually push. I could have had up to 10 people, including myself, in there for that test. But I didn't push it because I thought, oh, you know what? This will actually be perfect. We have just the right number to actually have everybody all at one table. And we did. So I am very happy about that. So what we've done is we have found a way to give everybody an experience, but a way to give people an online experience. And I'm really happy about this. So this community right here has something that I don't think any of the others do. So, I mean, there are different communities for different games where they have different ways to set up and play their own games, but many of them don't even have that. So we have found a way to be able to get together from time to time and actually play some of the games that we have been talking about here on the grind. And then I'm also very excited about being able to build out some of my games as we start talking about them here. And I want to be able to build them out inside the coffee shop first, before some type of physical instantiation. Man, I am chomping at the bit to get ready for that, to be able to do that. But I'm trying to go project by project, being obsessed by certain projects before, and finishing them before I move on. So RavenCon 0, I'm going to send out an email to everybody, letting everybody know who was on the sign-up list or the interest list that it did work. Test successful. Next, we need to start promoting this. I'm going to reach out to, for instance, Lou and some other creators. I'll also reach out to Kelsey and tell her that this went well. And then we'll see about organizing. Oh, Robert was there last night. Yes, Robert was also there last night. Charlie, yes. Oh, yeah, we're talking about Sable with taking out a giant with a dagger as the wizard. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to having everybody there. We were there. We played 2 games. And we played Hero Quest and Dragon Strike. And as Robert noted, another great part about this was that you actually got playing pretty fast. Everybody showed up about 5 or slightly thereafter. I had on the schedule that we'd start Hero Quest at like 10 minutes after 5 because I figured people take a little time to come in. So we did all sit down and we're at the Hero Quest table. And we had actually started the game by 5:20. So, by the time we sat, but the time between actually sitting down and actually starting play was about 10 minutes. So that's also really good. Because people have to choose characters, some additional, okay, what are we doing here? Most people knew the basics, choosing spells, that kind of thing. But that stuff only took about 10 minutes worth of prep. So that was really good. Hey, Lynn, good morning. So RavenCon. So as far as obsession about one task, RavenCon 0 is now complete. Like I said, I'll message everybody who was on the interest list just to say that it was successful. And now the next thing is to try to organize a larger event, which is going to be fun. So we have a way to give people an experience. We don't have to just talk about the games anymore. We can actually get all together and play them. So thank you, everybody who came last night. Plus, I just had a fantastic time. It was great playing with everybody. All right, so that's kind of our announcements right here. I tell you what, we'll go through that pretty fast. Let's see. Oh, I put in the Discord server. So Tuesday. So this afternoon, I always forget this is Sunday. So on Sunday, over on the Table Talk channel, Doug, the episode where Doug and I discussed Silence of the Lambs will be coming out at 1:00. So that's happening this afternoon. But then on Tuesday, Christopher Vogler is going to be on Table Talk in the Discord server. I put a link to 2 different videos that I was watching of Christopher Vogler's. I was taking notes because I don't want to cover taking notes yesterday on Christopher Vogler discussions because I don't want to cover just stuff that he has already talked about online. So I watched his entire Film Courage interview, and then also Chris Gore interviewed him on Film Threat. And so I watched both of those. I put the links to that in the Table Talk on the Discord server. If you want to be part of the Discord server, I think I'll drop a link in here. So that if you want to watch them as well, you can. Because also I think that it's pretty useless to just say, hey, Christopher Vogler, you want to tell us what the hero's journey is? Like, that would be a waste of time. So I really want to be sure that we're extending the discussion, also in the context of the Heroine's Labyrinth, and do so in a way that, who knows, he might even want to come back, talking about things that he hasn't talked about before. So if you want to watch those, that's who he is. He seems like a really neat guy. So Christopher Vogler on Tuesday on Table Talk, and then on Thursday, it'll be Matt Bird. I haven't made up. Matt Bird is the author of The Secrets of Story, which as a book I also love. So that's what's coming up on that side of things. Let's do our reading before we get into West End Star Wars, shall we? Oh, I was looking at this too. Robert says, AI update. Zork adaptation is fully functional, and I managed to plug Pool of Radiance into a GPT as well. They're experimental, and so it can't be released in the GPT store, but links in Ravenkeep. I saw that last night, and I saw that a stream, so I want to check that out too, because we did ask, like, can you feed it a module and have it run? That's crazy. So you say yes, that it was running Pool of Radiance? Let's see here. I didn't get to read or listen to Dune last night because I crashed. All right. So here's our inspirational reading for this morning. Everybody got your coffee or other favorite beverage with you? I've got Cultist coffee here, very suitable this morning. So let's breathe and sip. Let's take 2 deep breaths. Deep inhales. Complete exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. All right, let's breathe. And sip. All right. This is Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield. He says, play hurt. The amateur believes that she must have all her ducks in a row before she can launch her startup or compose her symphony or design her iPhone app. The professional knows better. Has your husband just walked out on you? Has your El Dorado been repossessed? Keep writing. Keep composing. Keep shooting film. Athletes play hurt. Warriors fight scared. The professional takes 2 aspirin and keeps on trucking. Sit chilly. Sally Hale was a famous equestrian and teacher of horsemanship. She had a phrase that she drilled into her students' heads. Sit chilly. If you and I are riding in a steeplechase, we may find ourselves at a gallop atop our 1,000-pound or 1,200-pound hunter jumper, approaching a stone wall that looks like it's 15 feet high. Dire thoughts may enter our heads at that moment. Trickier still, the rider's seat, meaning the way we sit in the saddle, is how our intentions are communicated to the ultra-sensitive mount beneath us. If fear and uncertainty enter our minds, the horse will know instantly. At that point, anything can happen. Sally said, sit chilly. She meant not just be cool or stay composed. She meant maintain your seat. The professional knows that in the course of her pursuit, she will inevitably experience moments of terror, even panic. She knows that she can't choke that panic back or wish it away. It's there, and it's for real. The pro sits chilly. She focuses on the horse and the wall. She keeps her seat. All right. Let's take a look at Star Wars then. I think we should. You want to do the solo adventure first? I think we should, and then we'll go on to wounds and wounding. But we'll let it take us through and learn this. Because, hey, this one might need to end up in the coffee shop. Sounds like it. Sounds like people wanted to play this one. So it might need to be a coffee shop build out. We'll build out. We got 7 games ready right now. Can be played, but we will build out more as we go. All right, so Star Wars. I still have too much stuff on my desk. Good morning, Yogg-Sothoth. All right, so Star Wars, the role-playing game. I'm probably going to need to get more coffee here in a moment. But let's see how... Okay, wow, I just opened to the right place. Okay, so Chapter 3, an introduction to role-playing. So this says we got a solo adventure here. I know I'm going to need dice, and I was trying to clean up around here. Here's some dice. I got at least 3d6. No, 4d6. Maybe that would be enough right here. All right, 4d6. Let's see here. All right, an introduction to role-playing. All right, it says we suggest we play through this in order to get a feel of the game. So let's see what we can do here. Regina Kali, a solitaire adventure. New Baxtra rotates rapidly. The sun and 7 moons move at a visible speed across its purplish sky. The sun sets slowly behind Regina Kali, an M-class Imperial attack transport, which casts its long shadow across New Bastra's twisted vegetation. You study it from your hiding place, a dozen meters distant, shivering slightly at the chill air. The landing ramp is open and for the moment unguarded. You bolt from cover, running across the clearing, dash up to the ramp and into the darkened cargo bay. Star Wars, the role-playing game, usually requires a game master and at least 2 players. A solitaire adventure lets you play by yourself. To play this adventure, you need a pencil. Check. Paper. Check. And the sample template for Rorik Garnet printed on page 8. Okay, right there. So we'll refer to that on page 8 if we need to. So we are a smuggler. All right. Begin by reading the section labeled 1. Each section describes a situation and asks you to roll dice or choose a course of action. Depending on what you do or roll, it tells you to go to another section, turn to that section, and continue. When you're told to write something down, write alarm triggered, just jot it on a scratch piece of paper so you'll remember. The adventure will tell you when you're finished. After a complete adventure, try it again. This time, make different choices and see how they affect the outcome. You're playing the role of Rorik Garnet, a galactic entrepreneur and adventurer, a smuggler. Your ship, the Dorian Discus, was making an unscheduled delivery here on the planet of New Baxtra when forced down by Imperial Customs cruisers. The Dorian Discus crash-landed in a forest nearby. The Regina Kali, an Imperial transport, showed up with a bunch of stormtroopers who started combing the area. They wounded and captured your companion and co-pilot, Hawk Caro. You don't give 2 hoots about the Empire or the Rebellion, but there's no way you're going to abandon your friend to the tender mercies of Imperial interrogators. You trailed the ambushers and your captive buddy back to the Regina Kali. Your only plan is to find Hawk and get him out. After that, well, there's time to worry about later. You hope. Ready? All right, let's see. 1. Once inside, you look at the security console. Where are they keeping you, old buddy? Without the R2, you have to bypass security on your own. You lean over the console, study it, chew your nails, and then punch a few keys in rapid succession. You're using your security skill. You did not allocate any extra dice to security, so your security code is still 2D plus 2, the same as your technical attribute. See the sample character on page 8. So roll 2 dice and see how well you do. All right. Imperial Security Console, 8. The difficulty for this skill roll is 5. If your die roll is 4 or less, go to 3. If your die roll is 5 or more, go to 2. Okay. 2. Phew, no alarm. The monitor says prisoner in infirmary. Prisoner in infirmary, command deck, room 812. You get the infirmary security code out of the memory banks. Calling up the diagram of the ship, you choose the most direct route and move out. Alert for wandering stormtrooper patrols. Go to 4. Across the corridor is the grav tube to the command deck. You hear approaching footsteps, but no one is in sight. Should you stay hidden or dash for the grab tube and hope you aren't seen? Let's say stay hidden and observe. All right, so go to 6. A stormtrooper walks into the room and stands by the grav tube with his weapon ready. You wait several minutes, but the stormtrooper shows no sign of leaving. Uh-oh. If you shoot the unsuspecting trooper, go to 8. If you try to bluff your way past the trooper and into the grav tube, go to 9. What type of Imperial transport is this? Do you think they're going to believe somebody's walking around here? Am I good at shooting things? Let's take a look at 8. I'm 5D plus 1 with blaster. Well, let's try to bluff him. Let's try to bluff your way past the trooper and into the grav tube. Seems a bit risky to try to blow him away right now. Let's go to 9. If you have written alarmed triggered, go to 10. Otherwise, go to 11. All right, we're to 11. You walk across the room to the grav tube, wincing in pain, a hand clasp over one eye. Excuse me, trooper, could you direct me to the infirmary? Got a splash of coolant in it. It hurts like hell. Your con skill is 3D. Roll 3 dice. The difficulty number is 15. Whoa! Whoa, difficulty 15. Maybe I should have just shot him. All right. So 3D with a difficulty of 15. Sounds rough. 6, no, only 12. If your roll is 14 or less, the trooper is not going to fall for this routine and go to 10. The trooper says, halt, and identify yourself. If you halt to regale the trooper with a clever fictitious explanation for your presence, go to 12. If you shrug, then draw your blaster and fire at the trooper, write trooper wary, and go to 34. Okay, trooper wary. Hey, Mike, good morning. All right, well, now it seems like a Han Solo thing to do to blast him. So trooper wary, but at 34. The trooper is not surprised, and he shoots back. So I shrug, draw my blaster, and then fire at the trooper. Okay? 34. The trooper is not surprised, and he shoots back. The trooper's blaster skill is 3D. The difficulty number for both shots is 10. Roll 3 dice for the stormtrooper. Your blaster skill is 5D plus 1. Roll 5 dice for yourself and add it to the total. Whoever gets the higher roll shoots first. All right, so this is 3 for the blaster. Let's see, this is 3 for the stormtrooper. So stormtrooper rolls a 9. I'll make note of that. So rolled a 9. I'm rolling 5D plus 1. I only got 4 dice right here. Whoa. 18, 19 right there. That's 19. 21. 21 plus 1, 22. I rolled a 22. Whoever gets the highest roll shoots first. So I shot first. If you shoot first and your roll is 10 or more, which it is, you have hit the stormtrooper. He slumps to the floor. You dart past into the grav tube and close the blast doors and driftly gent toward the command deck. Right, intruder reported. Trooper wary and intruder reported. And go to 7. I don't think he even got his shot off, Lynn. So 7. You float upwards to a blast door. Imperial graphics indicate that it's the command deck. You twist the grab tube control to neutral. The blast doors open. Beyond them, a corridor leads right and left. The infirmary should be to the right. Across the open door are blast doors leading to a darkened room. If you've written alarm triggered or intruder reported, go to 14. All right, 14. You hear stormtroopers approaching from the right and the left. If you run across the hall to hide in the darkened room, go to 17. Or if you wait in the graph tube to ambush the stormtroopers, go to 18. Last time I tried to play it calm and it didn't work. So let's try to if you run across the hall into the darkened room, let's go ahead and take our action, try to get there. So 17. You lean against the bulkhead in the dark, clasping the blaster two-handed and trying to control your breathing. In the brightly lit corridor outside, 2 stormtroopers pause before the door. They peer in, and then one gestures to the other side. Check this room, a voice rasps. And set for stun. The commander wants this one for questioning. One trooper continues down the corridor. The other steps cautiously into the dark room. If I hide and observe, go to 19. If you shoot the searching stormtrooper once he's inside the darkened room, go to 20. Uh-oh. James says, that's a trooper for you. Quick with suspicion, slow with a blaster. Do I try to shoot him or do I just try to hide and observe? I'm just trying to get my guy out of here. Hey, Trey. All right, so let's say if you hide and observe, let's see what happens this time. Go to 19. You look around quickly for a hiding place as the trooper cautiously enters the room. Your hide sneak skill is 3D. The trooper's search skill is 2D. Roll 3 dice. That's your roll. Then roll 2 dice for the trooper. All right, so my roll is 15. There's that 15 that I needed. I could have bluffed the other trooper with that. And then the trooper over there, he rolls a 4. If your roll is higher than or equal to the stormtroopers, his careless search failed, or you found a great hiding place. The trooper leaves and continues down the corridor from the infirmary. You leave the room and head for the infirmary. Go to 16. So that worked. You peer around a corner. Down a long corridor, you see a single trooper standing outside the infirmary door. Tough shot from here. If you test your marksmanship with this long-range shot, go to 38. If you try to bluff your way up to the trooper for a sure shot, go to page 39. All right. Well, the bluff didn't really work all that well last time, but all I'm trying to do is get closer to him. So let's try 39. On the other hand, they are intruder has been reported. Well, I don't know. Let's just still try it. 39. If you're wearing stormtrooper armor, I am not. Oh, that would have been good. If you have no trooper armor, but you have not written alarm triggered or intruder report, go to 43. If you have no trooper armor and you have written alarm triggered or intruder reported, go to 44. Oh, I'm in a bad situation. The alert trooper, under orders to stun first and ask questions later, snaps. Oh, so there you go. That's the reverse, James. Snaps his blaster to his shoulder without hesitation, fires and stuns you before you can get off a shot. You tumble paralyzed to the deck. Go to 45. Uh-oh. An Imperial officer arrives with a squad of troopers. The commander is personally interested in this one, I suspect, says the officer as he relieves you of your blaster. I'm sure you'll enjoy this opportunity to savor the comforts of Imperial hospitality, my rebel friend. You two, put him in the infirmary with the other one. The rest of you, take a look around outside and see if there are any others crawling around. How nice, you think groggily, a personal escort, as the 2 troopers each grab a leg and drag you down the corridor. Go to page 24. or number 24. 2 troopers drag you down the corridor to a room marked infirmary. They drop you on the deck. One punches the security code while the other covers the door with his blaster. And neither is watching you. Here goes nothing. You concentrate and put everything into silently getting to your feet and jumping the troopers from behind. You're trying to do this without being seen, so you're using your hide sneak skill. Your skill code is 3D. Roll 3 dice. The troopers have been careless. Your chances are good. The difficulty number is 5. Oh, I thought I was done for. Whoa, I just barely do it, though. 6. I guess that's the effect of the blaster rifle. Trey says, I have a huge soft spot for this system. I used to use this system, the WEG D6, and run all of my games. I just love the way it did skills, damage, etc. This one in a game called Blood Shadows. Mike says, this was all a ruse to get you closer to your friend. Exactly, yes. So I just did it. If you roll 5 or more, you take the two troopers by surprise. Go to 25. You try to do 2 things at once. Knock one trooper down while grabbing the other's blaster rifle. You're using your brawling skill for both purposes. Your skill code is 4D plus 1. However, because you're trying to do 2 things at once, you roll 1D less than you normally would. Your modified skill code is 3D plus 1. Roll 3 dice and add 1 to your total. Attempt to knock down the trooper and roll 3D plus 1 again for your attempt to grab the blaster rifle. Oh, my skill code was 4D plus 1. So now it's going to be 3D plus 1. So 3D plus 1 to knock down the trooper, and then 3D plus 1 again to grab the blaster rifle. Difficulty of both attempts is 10. All right, so I try to knock the trooper down. 3D plus 1. Uh-oh, 7, 8, 9. Uh-oh, no good here. The other one hits 10. If either or both rolls fail, so I did fail one of them, your bold move has failed. You are subdued and imprisoned with your injured friend. Go to 40. Both you and Hawk are imprisoned in the infirmary. This time, however, 2 Imperial stormtroopers stand outside guarding the door. You sit next to a chair. You sit in a chair next to Hawk's pallet. Well, now we've got them right where you want them. Those Imperials think they've taken us captive. Actually, I've just tricked them into bringing us here so I could rescue you. A barrage of rude noises and flying objects from the pallet greet your announcement. Look, if you're going to be that way, I'll just leave. Anyway, it's your turn to come up with the plan. Hawk reflects for a moment. Well, how about the Bacta tank? The what? The healing tank. We'll tip it over, spill the Bacta in front of the doorway, and raise a false alarm. When the guards rush in, they'll slip on the liquid and we can bash them with the tank. Are you really sure that's going to work? Sure, look, you say it's my turn and that's my plan. Wonderful, let's go. Go to page 30. You leave the infirmary. Wait, what? It does say go to 30. It says you leave the infirmary, sneak back to the grav tube, and make it to the transport deck without encountering any troopers. What? That's not right. Well, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go because that doesn't sound right at all. Did I get to the right place with 40? Yeah. I am not sure. Oh, I don't know where to go. Oh, that's disappointing. Oh, well. All right. I'm not sure where to go from here because that 30 does not seem right. 30, it says, you leave the infirmary, sneak back to the grav tube, and make it to the transport deck without encountering any troopers. Go to 31. 2 land speeders sit on the open cargo ramp. If you pile into one and leave the other one alone, go to 35. If you take the time to disable the other land speeder before you leave, go to 36. Why don't we just go? The moment you get in the land speeder and fire it up, an alarm sounds. You zoom out of the cargo bay just as it closes. 41. Yep. So, okay. Well, anyway, that's how we played it. So that was fun. I do like, as long as the numbers are connected, right? I'm sure that's something that's on the internet. It's like, wait a minute. What's wrong with the adventure when you get to a certain point? I want to make up choose your own adventures like this for some of my worlds that use different dice. All right, so we were actually over here. Let's see. We were over on healing, I believe, as far as how we actually play. Yeah, chapter 4, wounds and healing. So let's see about wounds and healing. Most of the weapons used in Star Wars cauterize as they wound, so people rarely bleed to death or die of infection. In addition, medical technology is fantastically advanced, so even the most severely wounded characters can be healed in short order if medical assistance is available. Wound effects. Wounded characters can act and use skills, but all skill and attribute codes are reduced by 1 when you are wounded. This penalty applies until the character heals. Incapacitated characters are unable to act or use skills until treated. Characters fall unconscious when incapacitated, but can be restored to consciousness later. Even when conscious, incapacitated characters are groggy and unable to use skills. Mortally wounded characters cannot be roused from unconsciousness and cannot act or use skills. The roll must be made every combat round to avoid death. All right, a medipack. Medpack. A medpack is a package of drugs, syntheflesh, coagulants, and computerized diagnostics. Medpacks are used for first aid and emergency field care. Any computer with medicine skill can attempt to use a medpack to treat an injured character. He may make 1 skill roll per combat round he spends treating the character. The difficulty of using the medpack depends on the severity of the wound, as summarized on the healing table. See page 140. Healing table. Wounded, DC 10. Incapacitated, DC 15. Mortally wounded, DC 20. Rejuve tank healing times. Wounded, 2D hours. Incapacitated, 2D days. Mortally wounded, 2D weeks. Natural healing. Okay, if the user rolls equal to or higher than the difficulty number, he has treated the injured character. A treated character's wound status is reduced by 1 degree. That is, mortally wounded characters become incapacitated, incapacitated ones become wounded, and wounded ones become uninjured. A character's wound status can only be reduced by 1 degree. A character who is treated once cannot be helped further by further med packs, only by rejuvenation takes or natural healing. Wounded characters whose injuries are treated by med pack and become uninjured cannot be healed if wounded a second time that day. At least a day must pass before a med pack can be used again. A wounded character can use a med pack on himself, but his medical skill code is reduced by 1D while he does. A med pack is expended when used. Characters who expect to do a lot of healing should carry several. Hey, Joe Russell. Are you talking about this because of the syntheflesh? Hey, Stray. Good morning, Stray. Good to see you. Russell says, I still love this version. I ran this for some of my players who had never played. It takes some getting used to for new players. It does seem like there's a lot of love for this game right here. Rejuvenation tanks. Rejuve tanks are filled with Bacta, a specially formulated treatment liquid which promotes a rapid healing and acts as a disinfectant. Someone who is placed in a rejuvenation tank will be healed. It's only a matter of time. Refer to the healing table. Find the character's wound status and rejuvenation tank section. Next to the wound section, Next to the wound status is printed a length of time, from hours to weeks for wounds, or weeks for mortal wounds. From hours for wounds, or weeks to mortal wounds. When a character is placed in a rejuvenation tank, roll 2d. The result is the number of hours, days, or weeks it takes to heal. For example, next to incapacitated, the table says 2d days. An incapacitated character is healed in 2d days. A mortally wounded character is healed in 2d weeks, etc. Okay, natural healing. Sometimes a character can't get a rejuvenation tank because he's on a primitive planet, or lost, or hiding from Imperials, whatever. In this case, make a strength attribute roll for the character once per day, starting on the day of injury, and refer to the natural healing section of the healing table. Weird Guy says, one thing to know about the D6 system, in a skill versus skill scenario, they should realistically be plus or minus 2D in skill versus each other to be worthwhile, and that's pushing it. Oh, plus or minus, 2D in each other's skills in order to be able to allow one to overcome the other. Trey says, this game is great, but it was my first. I need a bucket of D6 games. The only thing people did not like was how big the dice pools could get and having to count up all of the rolls. So natural healing. All right, find the character's wound status and find the number you rolled for it underneath it. Oh, it's a strength roll. Excuse me, I didn't get to that point. Sometimes a character can't get to a rejuvenation tank because he's on a primitive planet, or lost, or hiding from Imperials, whatever. In this case, make a strength check, a strength attribute roll for the character once per day, starting the day after the injury, and refer to the natural healing section of the healing table. Find the character's wound status and find the number you rolled for him underneath it. It will tell you whether the character's wounds gets better or worse. For example, under wounded, the table says 2 to 6 incapacitated, 7 to 11 no change, or 12 plus healed. So your wound can get worse. That means if your strength is 6 or less, this wound gets worse. He becomes incapacitated. If his roll is 12 or more, they get better. He's healed. On any roll between 6 and 12, he remains the same, wounded. I wonder if we're going to get to the repair bay for robots. You need to take your robot down to maintenance. 2d6 is 12 max, while 4d6 is an average of 12. So people who are 3 or d6 or more apart, it's damn near impossible to beat the higher skilled character. That can be I'm sure that would be a bug to some, and it would be a feature to others. Falling in collisions. When a character falls further than 3 meters or collides with an object while traveling at a speed of 5 kilometers per hour or more, refer to the falling and collision table, see page 141. Find the speed of collision or the distance fallen on the table in the same line as printed a code. Roll damage dice as indicated, and roll strength dice for the affected character. The usual rolls for damage are used to determine how severely the character is injured. Starships. I'm going to get a little bit more. Retro Nerd Girl says, the detail on this is astounding. I'm impressed. This is especially old school RPGs for you. Trey says, I vaguely remember there were some ways for D6s would explode. Oh, so that was in the second edition. Yeah, this is the first edition that we've got. Hey, I'm going to refill my coffee here. Just 1 second.
Oh, it's time for a Yeti hug break. Yeti hug break, Yeti hug break. Everybody go hug yo Yeti and show yo Yeti some love.
I need to extend that a little bit. Feels like I need to have some pictures of some Yetis making coffee or something. Let's see. Starship data. Okay, pages 55 to 57 contain information about the most important small ships in Star Wars. The Millennium Falcon, X-Wing fighters, TIE fighters, and stock light freighters. An Imperial Customs frigate frequently encountered by small ships is also included. Information on a wide variety of other ships and additional information on these ships can be found in the Star Wars sourcebook, which we'll look at later. Each ship description includes crew, passengers, cargo capacity, consumables, hyperdrive multiplier, nav computer, hyperdrive backup, sublight speed, maneuverability, hull, weapons, shields. Background: interstellar travel in the Star Wars universe. Booking passage. Let's say getting off planet. Looks like some kind of sidebar here. So as explained in the adventure section, see page 86, for an adventure to be satisfying, you have to throw obstacles in the player's path. Keep them on their toes and worrying about what happens next. Getting off planet is often a problem. Getting authorization, finding a rebel spy, or locating or making a deal with a smuggler are still are opportunities for players to use their brains and skills. Trips. Pirates and privateers. So starship data, for example. X-Wing fighter, the Rebel Alliance's main superiority fighter. Crew 1 plus an R2 unit. Passengers none. Cargo capacity 110 kilograms. Consumables 1 week. Can be mounted with pods carrying additional consumables for extended missions at a cost of speed and maneuverability. Reduce each by 1d for each additional week of consumables carried. Hyperdrive multiple times 1. Nav computer, none. Hyperdrive backups, none. Sublight speed 4D. Maneuverability 3D. Hull 4D. Weapons 4 laser cannons fired as 1. Fire control rating of 3D. Damage rating of 6D. Also proton torpedoes, which have fire control of 2D and damage of 9D. I guess we'll find out what all of this is. Shield rating of 1D. Weird Guy says, the hyperdrive backup is my favorite bit. It explains how the Millennium Falcon limps to Bespin in Empire Strikes Back. They can still go faster than light, just horribly slow. Nice. Adding things to the Star Wars universe and patching plot holes. The fighter. This is the tie-in model, a modest improvement on the earlier tie, now the mainstay of Imperial fighter forces. TIEs are not hyperspace capable and generally operate from bases or star destroyers. So crew 1, passengers none, cargo capacity 110 kilograms, consumables 1 day, hyperdrive multiple, no hyperdrive carried, nav computer none, hyperdrive backups none, sublight speed 5D, so a little bit faster than the X-Wings, maneuverability 2D, but a little bit less maneuverable than the X-Wings, hull 2D, weapons 2 laser cannons fired as 1, fire control 2D, and damage 5D with no shields. Oh, let's see. Imperial patrols. Running trips. You can play interstellar travel in 2 ways. Since it's often dull with nothing much happen, you can skip over the weeks of boredom and say, all right, when you get to Dantooine, or you can use the trip to collect to good effect. The player characters might meet interesting NPCs on board the ship. You run into this fellow, Dram Parkins, at a sabacc game. One night, you're invited to dine with the captain's table and strike up a conversation with a kindly-looking odd alien. You can plant rumors or news the player should find useful. Starship Scuttlebutt says that there are pirates out Alderaan way. You can even say stage a major encounter aboard the ship. Maybe there's an Imperial spy aboard. Maybe the ship is attacked by pirates. Or maybe the players accidentally stumble onto illicit cargo. Weird Guy says, nav computer none means it can't calculate a jump on the fly. FYI, astromech droids can hold 10 pre-calculated routes that you can copy and paste into it ahead of time. But if you're not making a new route on the fly, Interesting. So, okay, we got the Millennium Falcon here. Millennium Falcon, the ship of the infamous smuggler Solo, now vigorously sought by both Imperial forces and the nefarious crime boss Jabba the Hutt, to whom the smuggler reputedly owes heavy debts. The Falcon is basically a souped-up stock freighter. Crew 2, passengers 6, cargo capacity 100 metric tons, consumables 2 months. Hyperdrive multiplier, times 1/2. Nav computer, yes. Hyperdrive backups, yes. Sublight speed 4D. Maneuverability 1D. Hull 6D. Weapons, 2 quad laser cannons, each fire control. 2 quad laser cannons, each have fire control 3D and damage 6D. Concussion missiles, fire control 3D and damage 10D. Shields are rated at 3D. We have a stock light freighter, one of the most commonly encountered small trading vehicles, frequently seen in the galactic rim, where trade routes are less intensively developed than in the core, and where small traders can still hope to compete in the giant shipping corporations, with the shipping corporations. Crew 2, passenger 6, cargo capacity 100 metric tons, 2 months of consumables, a ×2 hyperdrive multiplier. Nav computer, yes. Hyperdrive backup, yes. Sublight speed 2D. Maneuverability 0. Hull 4D. Weapons 1 laser cannon. Fire control 2D with 4D of damage and no shields. Imperial Customs Frigate. As customs enforcement vessels, these frigates are sufficiently well armed to overawe most smugglers and pirates, but are far too lightly armed to be of much use in regular naval actions. Crew 16. Passengers, room for 6 prisoners in the brig. Cargo capacity 200 metric tons for seizure of contraband. Consumables 6 months. Hyperdrive multiplier ×1. Nav computer, yes. Hyperdrive backups, yes. Sublight speed 4D. Maneuverability 1D. Hull 5D. Weapons 4 laser cannons each with fire control 2D and 5D of damage. Also carries proton torpedoes, fire control 2D, damage of 9D, and 3D worth of shields. Sable says, I find it funny that the YT line. The type of, I know, in universe. I find it funny the YT line are called freighters when they're obviously too small for that. When they're too small for that and are obviously meant for smuggling or blockade running. Weird Guy says, I believe a backup hyperdrive is ×15. That means a jump of just 2 days long will take you 30 days to make it. So multiplier. So the multiplier is going to be multiplying time. See, I thought that was kind of weird that the hyperdrive multiplier on the Falcon is ×1/2. But that's not talking about distance, that's time. So if you're talking about the time it takes, then yeah, because I'm thinking the Millennium Falcon should be faster. So if you're multiplying time, then I don't think we've gotten to that part. We're about to go to background hyperdrives. So maybe you'll tell us there. And then it'll look routes down here because we got a multiplier on the stock light freighter of ×2. Yeah, the YT, that's the Millennium Falcon, right? Thank you, Weird Guy. The YT line freighter. So, okay, time, that makes sense. That would make the Millennium Falcon faster if we're halving time. Need the astrogate skill to plot a course also along with the nav computer. There's also a force power for hyperdrive navigation, was how Luke got to Dagobah. So background hyperdrives. The hyperdrive is a miracle of advanced technology powered by massive fusion generators that hurls its ship into another dimension called hyperspace. Only hyperspace techs and highly trained scientists really understand hyperspace. Even they admit there's a lot they don't know. Most aspects of hyperspace remain a mystery to Imperial science. One thing is clear, though. In hyperspace, a ship can travel faster than light. To get technical, hyperspace is coterminous to normal space. That is, each point in real space is associated with a unique point in hyperspace, and adjacent points in real space are adjacent in hyperspace. If you head north in hyperspace, you travel north in real space. Real objects have a hyperspace shadow. That is, there's a star or star-like object in hyperspace at the same location it occupies in real space. This is a danger. Space is not a complete vacuum. Floating molecules are everywhere. Only a few per cubic centimeter, but they exist. Larger objects, though rarer, are common too. There are many more rogue planets which float in the interstellar void, unwarmed by the sun, than in any star system. They are uncountable asteroids, meteors, and random chunks of ice and rock between the stars. If a ship traveling at trans-light speed hits an object of any size, it's instantly vaporized. Even a close graze with a rogue planet or sizable asteroid would throw a ship vastly off course. Astrogation is a tricky business. So that's why having a small multiplier is a good thing. She may not be a much kid, but she'll do 0.5 past light speed, aka a multiplier is 0.5. Tomocrat, so to get to the Bespin to Hoth is 50 days. So the hyperdrive is 50x 0.5 on the Falcon, so 25 days. 50 times the speed, so 25 days. Yeah, makes sense. So routes. All but the smallest hyperdrive-capable starships are equipped with nav computers. Nav computers hold a wealth of statistical and map data charting positions of stars, rogue planets, known asteroid fields, and other dangers. Properly operated by a skilled astrogator, they calculate the safest, fastest path for a ship to follow through hyperspace. Errors are always possible. Merely transposing a set of numbers when entering data can send a ship far off course. Unskilled astrogators frequently play it safe by taking a slower route in order to run less risk. The desperate sometimes do the reverse, accept high risk to get someplace fast. Operating a nav computer properly is no guarantee of safety. There are billions of stars in the galaxy. The positions of most are charted, but that still leaves many whose positions have never been entered into the standard navigation database. There are many more planets and asteroids. The positions of 90+% of them are unknown. A rogue planet shines only by reflected starlight. They can rarely be spotted even by the most powerful orbital telescopes and are discovered only by accident. There are trillions of rogues. Only the ones close to frequently traveled space routes are charted. As for asteroids and meteors, there are so many that no serious effort has been made to chart them. And all of these objects, stars, planets, asteroids, meteors, gas molecules, are constantly moving, often in unpredictable ways. Accidents often happen even most frequently traveled and best charted routes. But the odds of an accident on a frequently traveled route are much lower because they are much better charted. Going to a star system that's never before been visited is very dangerous. None of these obstacles along the routes have been charted. Only the crazy or desperate would attempt to travel straight into an unexplored star system. Usually explorers travel a short distance through hyperspace, drop into real space to take readings, travel a short distance again, and so on. This is time-consuming but reasonably safe. Okay, passage times. Weird Guy says, this was the book that started deciphering all of George Lucas's technical mumbo-jumbo that was just dialogue. Now it means something real. So on a planet, the further apart two places are, the longer it takes to travel between them. In hyperspace, that isn't necessarily so. Theoretically, a starship can travel at practically infinite speeds. A well-equipped starship can travel from one side of the galaxy to another in a matter of days or weeks. The distance of the destination isn't the control factor because it's the difficulty of the trip. Basically, three factors make the journey difficult. Since most rogue planets and small bodies are uncharted, a ship's speed through hyperspace depends on the amount of debris that lies in its path. If there's a lot of debris, the ship feels its way slowly, detecting and avoiding objects as it goes. The denser the debris, the slower the passage. If many charted obstacles, stars, planets, and so on, lie ahead of a ship's course, it must zig and zag to avoid them, and that's time-consuming. All things being equal, the longer the trip, the more obstacles the ship is likely to encounter, but sometimes the local star positions make a particular course tough. You might be a mere 15 light years from the Dagobah system, but if your course goes through an asteroid belt, you still have to divert. Yes, we've been talking about that. Joe says when Timothy Zahn wrote the Heir to the Empire trilogy, they gave him all of the WEG books for research material. So yeah, so that's what that's basically what we said. So it sounds like this is the Star Wars Bible. This became the Star Wars technical Bible. This in the source book. So the more frequently a particular route between the two planets is used, the better the obstacles between them are charted, and the less cautious and slow a ship needs to be when traveling between them. The less frequently a route is used, the more cautious and slower a ship needs to be. The best case is a trip like the Kessel Run, one of the most heavily used trade routes in the Empire, and one where hotshot pilots and traders on the shady side of the law like to travel very quickly. The worst case is a trip between two previously unexplored star systems. The only guide the nav computer has in this case is the position of known stars. Worst case, the trip can take months. Right, which is why the Kessel Run takes more than 12 parsecs, which is distance instead of time. Backup hyperdrive. Most starships carry backup hyperdrives, underpowered, slow, and antiquated drives with very limited range for use in emergencies. Ion drives can propel a craft at sublight speeds, but if a ship's hyperdrive is damaged between stars, relying on ion drives would mean spending years or decades getting to the nearest star. Backup drives, while slow by standards of regular hyperdrives, can at least get a starship to limp to a nearby system in a matter of days or weeks. It's like your spare tire, right? Backup hyperdrives have a maximum range of 10 light years and must be reconditioned into space dock after each use. As a result, if forced to use backup drives, a ship's choices of destinations are limited. The game master must tell the player what star systems are nearby. Usually there will be 3 to 5, but let them decide which to go to. Since most systems have never been visited or visited only once, they will be frequently only be scanty information about the character's choices of destinations. Han, we got to find a safe port somewhere around here. Any ideas? Leia, no, where are we? Han, the Anote system. The Anote system? There's not much there. That was the word that was phrased there. I thought it was like I didn't know it was ANOAT is what they said. Anote system, there's not much there. Han, no, wait. Well, Lando. No, well, wait. This is interesting. Lando. All right, so we got X-Wing fighters. X-Wing fighters. Then we got rules for astrogation. So let's see what it says about X-Wing fighters. Many small craft, including Imperial TIE fighters, are not equipped with hyperdrives. They are launched from a larger ship, which carry them when interstellar travel is required. The standard Rebel X-Wing fighter is equipped with a hyperdrive. Because the Rebel Alliance and the Imperial fleet operate in different ways, Rebel fighters frequently need hyperspace capable for raiding missions or to escape. However, X-Wings are not equipped with nav computers. I think this is just what I think Weird Guy was talking about. I think it was Weird Guy. The Anoet system. That's what they said. Maybe it's maybe I just thought they said Know-It system or something instead of the A in the front. I don't know. Okay, so however, X-Wings are not equipped with nav computers. Astrogating without a nav computer is risky and time-consuming. Without any data on the presence of obstacles, a ship must make very short hyperspace hops, entering normal space, frequently checking their surroundings. Only the desperate would try it. Does this make the X-Wing hyperdrives useless? No. The R2 units which control the X-Wing astrogation systems cannot themselves store the voluminous data needed to calculate safe hyperdrive routes, but they can store pre-calculated coordinates for up to 10 hyperdrive routes. So before an X-Wing leaves on a mission, the R2 unit is loaded with the data it needs to get to its destination and back, and the data for a couple of other routes to be used in emergencies. The required calculation is performed by a nav computer aboard a larger ship and downloaded into the R2 unit. Hyperspace travel along pre-calculated routes is no more difficult or dangerous than normal. There's one factor that can make using a hyperspace drive without a nav computer safe: the Force, which is on page 77, which we were also talking about. No, I thought it was NOAD. I thought they said NOAD system. I was trying to recall what I thought they said. I wish I had the scripts a long time ago. I had the scripts, but I have no idea where they are. I wish I could find those. Okay, well, there are things to be done today. So we are on an astrogation section. Let me see. I'll just stick that right there. So that is where we are. We will talk about astrogation, I guess, starting tomorrow. This has become quite an interesting series. So, but I'm enjoying it. So great discussions, everybody. And again, thank you everybody who came out yesterday for the test on the Cultist Coffee Shop. Please do hit the like button. That would be great to push this out to everybody. We'll continue, I guess, with this tomorrow. But everybody, until then, please go forth be creative, be constructive, and grind on. Later.